Thanks for staying with us. Time now for Media Watch, for which we're joined by James Creedon. Hi, James.
Good evening, Georgia. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so I understand we're going to start off with the online reaction to news that France has decided to send in military help to the Malian government fighting against Islamism.
That's right. It was the story that dominated the news here in France today, and of course at France 24. Let's take a look at some of the reaction online on the website of l'Express.fr. François Hollande à l'épreuve du feu. So they're talking here about what a challenge this is going to be for François Hollande, his first major challenge as French president. And there was a lot of analysis this afternoon about the risks attached to this, and indeed some of those risks are laid out in tweets as well. Notably this one by Chuck Burry. Colonisateur, France, colonisé, Mali. Hashtags there for those four words. Colonizer, France, colonised, and Mali. So the risk, of course, of any former coloniser going into a former colony is that it reawakens memories of the colonial past, and that it will be seen as a return to a distant and unhappy memory for locals, even if the Malian, of course, president did ask for French intervention. So that is one risk. Of course, another risk is the hostages. There are 7 French hostages in Mali, 1 in neighbouring Nigeria, and this tweet here says, a thought for the families of French hostages in Mali. These must be terrible hours for them. Fears, of course, of possible repercussions, because those hostages are being held mostly in the north, and it is those northern Islamists that are being targeted for having gone southward. Now, one final tweet, this one in English, at the UN Security Council on the Central African Republic. An African PR person speaks of a continent in crisis, but each country in crisis seems to be an ex-French colony. One person pointing out that I suppose, a coincidence. So there you go, lots of coverage on Twitter and on the French news websites, and indeed internationally, of that today.
Okay, now next we're going to move on to an event that's already catching a lot of headlines, the planned demonstration on Sunday against gay marriage.
That's right. Police estimating now that the numbers could reach 300,000. Many articles online talking about how this could be the biggest demonstration in the streets of Paris in 30 years. So a lot of mobilisation indeed. Also a lot of comparison to the other big demonstration against gay marriage that took place in the middle of November. But at that time, a lot of the anti-gay marriage, anti-gay adoption associations were divided. Here, there are 34 associations that are going to be on the streets of Paris on Sunday. The front page of Le Monde, for example, is already speaking about that today. Le Figaro, right-wing newspaper, giving advice to demonstrators. You see this in their column of Le Figaro magazine, advice such as stay on the street, don't go onto the footpath, and wear warm clothing, bring food, etc. So it almost seems as if they're taking sides in this dispute, which of course would not be surprising. You have on Twitter some people satirising that with tips for Manif pour tous, or the demonstration for all, which is what the anti-gay marriage demonstration is being dubbed. And one person here saying, oh, the security people will have holy water guns. So some people, I suppose, being a little bit mocking of what has become a left-wing, right-wing Catholic traditionalist debate versus, I suppose, progressive liberal debate.
Okay, and finally, a Facebook page set up in support of none other than red-haired people.
That's right.
International Kiss a Ginger Day.
International Kiss a Ginger Day. You can see it on the Ginger blog, rather appropriately. International Kiss a Ginger Day. It's tomorrow, so we needn't get too excited just yet. But lots
of... You were in danger there, James.
Another hour to go before I'm being smooched. Kiss a Ginger Day. And here it is. Here's the Facebook page being set up for it. Now, there was a lot of coverage, in fact, in the British press in the last day or two about people who've been bullied because of being ginger. One incident in Birmingham in England that got a lot of attention last year, an unprovoked attack in the streets where the guy ended up having to have surgery because of it. Let's take a look at this YouTube video, which I suppose sums it all up. 31 million hits. A guy who was annoyed at South Park, the satirical show, for attacking gingers.
It really irritates me that South Park would say that red-haired people don't have souls, okay? Because we do have souls, all right? Gingers have souls! I go to church, I'm a Christian.
And indeed, South Park, instead of eating humble pie, satirised him. Let's take a look at that.
I've been called a ginger. a fat ginger by everybody at school. Gingers have souls. I go to church. I'm a Christian. You don't know me. You're not God.
So they say it's the last form of discrimination, but I think people still are having a bit of fun with it, however appropriate that is or not. It's a debate, I suppose.
Oh, you don't really want to take on South Park's production team. Okay, thanks very much. James
Thanks, Rita.
Creedon with Media Watch.